birth. Her baby is so beautiful, by the way, and yes, we're still celebrating it. I think her husband celebrated his birthday quite recently as well. Yes, so happy belated birthday to Ohene as well. But she mentioned fibroids, and I know Doctor wanted to, mention something about how there's so much pressure on the women and people forget the men. But let's just talk about fibroid quickly before we get to that, because that seems to be a major challenge for most women. They tell you once you have fibroid and it's taken out, once it happens in your womb, that means that when it's taken out, you may not ever be able to have a baby again.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misinformation about fibroids, honestly. Maybe just to help all the women watching, and men as well watching this program, just to understand that fibroids are commoner in black people.
Okay.
In Ghana, for example, just about every other woman has a fibroid of some sort, size, shape, position in the womb. If you compare the black person to, say, a Chinese person, the Chinese will have less fibroids.
Why?
There seems to be genetics.
Okay.
In fact, the whites have the least, and then you've got the Chinese and Indians and blacks.
Okay.
So like I'm saying, just about every other woman in Ghana has a fibroid of some sort of description. Most fibroids don't cause any problems. There are some that may manifest in period issues, so heavy, painful periods. Others may have an association with infertility or subfertility, but it's not invariably so. Others may have clear cosmetic issues with it because the time has become quite big, or may have what we call pressure symptoms or affecting the urination and so on, so they go more frequently. But the truth of the matter is that women are given the impression that if you have fibroids, it means you can't fall pregnant. That is not true.
That's not true?
We have lots of women with fibroids and are pregnant, have had their babies with even vaginally, without necessarily having to have a cesarean section.
Oh.
I think fibroids will become a money-making business. I'm sure my friends and other
they won't be too happy about this,
but that is the honest truth of the matter. So if you have a fibroid as a woman, don't think, woe is me, no. Yes, it's prudent to see a doctor to be assessed, but unfortunately everything is attributed to fibroid as the source of either infertility or why you can't fall pregnant. No, it's not true.
So why do they then say that once you have fibroid, you should get pregnant now and have the baby so that we can take everything out altogether?
Yes, I've definitely heard that advice. I suspect that stems from the fact that fibroids are slow-growing tumors. Yes, if you allow a fibroid to keep growing over a long period of time, it could encase the whole of your womb and make, obviously, falling pregnant a bit more difficult. But the caveat, though, is that if you operate on a fibroid early, then you have a higher chance of it coming back.
Okay.
That's the problem. So, and more surgery to your womb, then the higher the chance of infertility. So there has to be a balance. A balance as to when you take a fibroid. So as a general principle, fibroids that are not causing any problems and they're small, leave them alone.
Okay. Interesting. Kafui, let me come to you. Enough of fibroids, and let's talk about how your family took it when you weren't able to have babies. And in your case, your husband's family is Western, and so it makes it easier for them to understand when women are not having babies, I assume. Because usually would say that it's the black people who are always given pressure, societal pressure. Why is your wife not giving birth? That means she's a witch, or that means she lived a very rough life when she was young.
But that's one of the reasons why I even decided to share the whole story, or the full story. Because people are afraid they're going to be judged, that because you're maybe doing a lot of abortions, you were rough, you are a witch, and your family has been cursed, or you've been cursed by somebody, and all kinds of things. So it makes a lot of people, like, they took longer in getting help.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid you'll be judged. And then you're even you're there, you don't know, and then maybe your husband doesn't want to get tested, or maybe the ones that have the courage to go to test or to find help will have trouble because their husbands don't want to be a part.
Exactly.
Because their ego is being like, okay, my friends would think I can't be pregnant, I'm not money enough.
Exactly.
I think it's far from that. So it's one of the reasons why I decided to put the full story out there, because my family were okay. My mother kept saying, okay, in God's time. There was one time that I had a miscarriage and I cried. And she said, do you think God doesn't know what's happening? That really touched me. Aside that, And then also when I had a baby and I shared a little part of the story on social media, or, like using quotes on my pictures, etc. A lot of people were coming to my office. Some were sending emails and messages, and then I realized that they really wanted to talk.
Yeah,
there were so many things they were harboring in. Like they want people to understand them. They want people to know how they felt. They want to know that it wasn't their fault. And nobody would listen. The mother-in-laws are always on their necks. You're useless just because you cannot get pregnant at a certain time. Charlie, it's so unfair.
I know.
It's so the judgment. That's what I want. That's why I shared my story. It was like, oh, but you were happy. Oh, you were this. You were that. I mean, I just want to know that they're not alone. And it's a challenge. There are all kinds of challenges in life. People can go through them. And I even heard stories of where a church member did not invite another church member to her third baby's naming just because she is not a family woman. Wow. And by that, she meant that because she don't have a baby. Look, what
and these things are happening. They're real.
Live. There's a Ghanaian woman telling me this, like all kinds of things. And I'm like, okay, why not? Let me just share the full story. You know, so definitely it's a challenge. That is my major problem, because you can have headache and it's okay. You can have stomachache and it's okay. But maybe you can have some like ovarian cyst and and you can have maybe low sperm count and you can have you know, I think we should know that people can get it, or things can happen, or any form. We shouldn't run a certain type of challenge. Challenges are challenges.
Exactly. Kathy, let me bring you in here because, I mean, like she said, a lot of people probably called her a witch or assumed that...
nobody can call me a witch.
Well, probably. You know, they might not say it to your face.
To my face.
Exactly.
You can,
there are people who would say it, but not to your face.
I was going to say that.
Because they'll say, she's chewing on her babies.
Yeah, the reason why I even came out to say, because personally, some people that I talked to, they were being attacked to the face, like this church woman. Or they didn't invite me. And then maybe the in-laws. I keep telling my mom, Charlie, who can treat me like that? You have to say it behind me, like,
because you can't say that. But there are some women who unfortunately face all of this
in
their marriages, and it's really sad. Sometimes even from their closest family members.
Even some the husbands.
Exactly.
The husband.
And nobody really judges the man.
The husband told the wife, Charlie, your mates are getting pregnant too. You know, and I'm like, you have to tell him back that it's a two-people affair.
Your mates are getting their wives pregnant.
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's a two-way affair, not just one person. I can't get pregnant by myself, you know. And she was quiet, just cried and called me and talk.
Ooh. Kathy, how do you handle situations like this?
I'm a very tough person, and my kind of counseling, sometimes I've got to be able to, after I've pat you a little bit on the back, I tell you to wake up. Life is larger than circumstances.
Okay.
If you don't know what you were born for, what you were born to do, certainly life will beat you low. She said they will say you are a witch. And so, but you know what? We cannot also sweep under the carpet the fact that some people's delay may be caused by certain people in the family. So let's not even.
Possible?
Let's never deny. Let's never rule out the fact that some things can be done by some people.
It's very possible. I'm not ruling it out that maybe they are not witches or anything. But most of these women, especially when they come to me, one decided.
I don't want us to even go that way.
No, let me just say that before we go, because she came and she was like, she leads a group in the church and everything. And then I'm like, okay, fine, that you go to church more than I do, and then you believe Jehovah has the final. When she came, we prayed. And we sang, Jehovah has the final say. And I said, here you are, you don't even believe Jehovah has the final say.
Exactly.
So I think if you believe in God,
that's it.
Then nobody can.
That's it.
Nobody have that power.
They may try.
That is where I'm coming to.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming to. Counseling should be holistic. Let's not rule out the fact that there are no powers. But let's not endorse them by giving too much power to them. Okay. Let medical check be conducted. Make sure that you avail yourself medical tests and all of that, which has to do with medical science. Let's be sure that it's medically the man and the woman are okay. If that is ascertained and then the delay still continues, if you're a Christian listening to me, the truth of the matter is that sometimes God can shut up your womb. Oh, some people who don't read Bible will be surprised at that. It's scriptural. 1 Samuel chapter 1, chapter 2. The Bible says there were two women married to one man called Elkanah. Peninnah had children, 5 of them. Hannah's womb, she didn't have. At the end of the day, God said, I had to do that because there was a timing. Eli was fading out of the temple. The sons of Eli had gone wayward. And you couldn't have brought a child before these guys are first out. So I had to delay for the Elam to go out. So Samuel comes in to take over. So purpose can determine why the delay in having pregnancy for those who truly know what they are here for.
But it's not that easy to
It's not that easy. Nobody says it's easy. But you see, the challenge in the world we are even living in is the fact that we are throwing God away and being religious. Religion beclouds your sense of judgment and beclouds your sense of understanding why certain things are. Religion is very, very far from reaching God. The relationship with Christ will make you see beyond. Because let's be real here. I'm a woman. I'm a mother of 4. They are grown. Okay. But I sometimes ask myself, what if I didn't have children in my marriage?
Yeah.
The pressure from in-laws. Where I come from, there's so much pressure for women to for you to have a baby. Okay. And not just a baby. Where I come from, male children is too important. It's not like the Ghana culture. You know, you may have 20 girls, but you haven't had a child yet. So you've got to be able to. So if it were in that culture I was sitting down here to talk, the issue would not really be just the barrenness or the delay. The issue is, I even have 8 daughters, but they think I'm not a part of this family. So they will still arrange a wife for your husband to be able to produce a male child, because there's so much emphasis on the male child, okay? There are systems and cultures and all that places the male children above the female. But thank God for the Ghana society. Okay, so if a woman is listening to me right now and you are kind of having delay in bringing forth, my counsel is slow down and enjoy life. The pressure may come from in-laws, the pressure may come from friends, the pressure may come from all manner of places, because people cast insinuating comment.
Yeah.
Oh, so when are we coming for your outdooring? Oh, so when are we, and all those words. When you take those words, when you take those words personally, you will die before time. You will not witness the birthing of your child. Because the devil can actually use people to say words that don't allow you sleep at night because you don't have a baby. And so somebody tells you something that you're about to put your head to sleep and you remember, oh, they just reminded me. And you start crying. And I've told people that whipping up emotions and sentiment never changes anything. I'm not saying it's easy.
It is not.
What will I suggest? Support group, support system that helps the process. Everybody can't be against you. Find 1 or 2 persons who understands your plight, who know beyond the ordinary that you can weather this storm until the Lord shows up. Prayerfully ask God to connect you. If you happen to be in a place where probably in-laws come in and they say, you have always been eating my son's food and you are not giving anything in exchange. Or somebody will say, but my son, why are you married to another man? Do you consider this one? Because there are comments like that. And I want to be very real. People say that, you say, how can he have a child when he's married to a man? People can be nasty. But you see, life is very short. To allow people's weird behavior make you get into downward spiral.
Exactly. Yes, indeed. Anyway, we also had an interaction with Whitney Boakye Mensah, and so we'll take her story, and then we'll talk more about Kafui Danku's Silence is Not Golden. We'll activate the phone line so you can call in if you have any questions for Catherine, for Kafui, or for Dr. Danso. We'll allow you to do that in just a bit.